so interesting to me that some of these, you have these great directors like on this list that made such amazing first-time films and then went on to do some incredible stuff, you know? And then you have guys like James Cameron, who, his first movie was Piranha 2, The Spawning. What are we doing today? I'm glad you asked. What's up, guys? It's Pieman, and we've got another quick list for you. Today, I know we already talked about directors quite recently with the Horror Movie Master, Modern Horror Master thing, and you can check that out on the channel, wherever that went. And you know what? I'm just impressed because I realised upon watching a film I don't want to say because it'll spoil one of the late entries on the list, that, wow, like a lot of amazing movies out there were made by people making their first movie, first-time directors, and you really got to appreciate them, both modern and older ones. There's some great stuff going on, and it makes you think, you know, looking at what the older ones on this list managed to go on and do with their careers, what the hell are these newer ones on the list going to end up doing? But I just decided, you know what, we're going to take a look. There's 15 on this list, and I've got a few honourable mentions to bring up as well, and they're just such impressive directors. Just don't get the credit they deserve a lot of the time, especially some of these ones. Some of these ones I didn't even really know the names of that well, which just goes to show you, you know, it's time to recognize them. So here we go. First up on the list at 15, it is a well-known name. It's Steven Spielberg and Jewel. Jewel was a movie from 1971, which was actually released as a TV movie in America, but it got a theatrical release in Europe, I think, in general. And it was Spielberg's first proper film. He did make a movie called, like, Firelight for about $500 when he was 18. It doesn't really count, though. I don't think it got a proper release or anything. But Jewel was an amazing movie about this guy who he overtakes this big truck a couple times, and it keeps overtaking him, and then slowly he realizes that he's in this horrifying duel with it, and he's trapped, and horrible things start happening, and it's a really great thriller. Not quite a horror movie, but definitely a thriller. And Steven Spielberg went on, obviously, as you know, to do a few useful films, a few decent movies out there. At 14, you've got to give credit to any first-time director whose first-time movie won Best Picture, like James L. Brooks with Terms of Endearment. Yeah. I wouldn't know the name to speak of, but he's gone on to do some amazing things, obviously. And Terms of Endearment, great movie, won Best Picture. You know, it just baffles me. You know, imagine first movie you ever make, Best Picture. Wow. It's just incredible to think. 13 is another modern one, and it's Chad Stahelski. If you don't know the name, maybe you know the name John Wick. Oh, that's right. Chad Stahelski was like a stunt performer and stunt coordinator, and then he decided to move on to directing because he could make John Wick, which was obviously a film which focused fairly heavily on things like that. And he went on to make the second, third, and now he's set up to make both the fourth and fifth back to back. That's the only things he's ever made, but he's got other projects as well as those coming up. And really, like, I'm just so looking forward to anything he does, because it's a revolution, John Wick, in terms of this kind of neo-noir action. And it introduces some of those elements of like Hong Kong action cinema, which haven't had much of a look in the Western world ever since, like, the Matrix sequels ruined it basically for us. Again, at 12, if you win Best Picture, you kind of got to be on this, right? Robert Redford, one of the greatest actors of a generation, and then he became one of the greatest directors of a generation, starting with Ordinary People from, what, 1980, which, you know, it's just astounding again to imagine somebody hears, oh, Robert Redford's making a movie. Oh, that's interesting. And then, whoop! And it is a great movie. And obviously he's gone on to some other incredible works. Oh my god. At 11, it's another modern one. We've got a few modern ones in this list just because I'm so excited about their potential future works. It's Jordan Peele and Get Out. I was astounded to find out, oh, Jordan Peele's just this kind of comedian guy. Wow, what? Because I didn't really know him. They're kind of more American, but wow, when I watched Get Out, I just kind of went, oh my god. It was amazing. It's such a great mix of horror and comedy. It's a real black comedy, really black comedy. Black comedy. Entering our top 10, it's Brad Bird and the Iron Giant. Oh, it takes something special because so many animated movies are made using multiple directors for different units and things like that. So I always think it's such a huge project, especially modern ones, to put together as a first-time director especially. And then Brad Bird proved he was good for it by going on to make both of The Incredibles, etc., etc. Man, Brad Bird is awesome. And The Iron Giant is obviously this heart-wrenching animated movie, which is so good. At 9, it is a very modern one as well. Greta Gerwig. She was also an actor. She was an actor in various things. I saw her in a couple of things. Never really took much note of her, honestly. And then she made Lady Bird, and I was like, oh damn. Oh damn, girl. Lady Bird is just... it really got me. And then it was one of those movies that I saw first time, marked really highly, loved, and then I came back to it later and went, I can't really have loved it that much, and then watched it again and went, oh my god, it is so good. At 8, once again, it's a director who... I think he won Best Director for this as well, not just Best Picture. It's Sam Mendes and American Beauty. And American Beauty is a weird film to go back and watch now, considering Kevin Spacey is kind of creeping on a young person. The irony. But it is a fantastic work. I don't love it much myself, but I can see why it's that good. Even if I don't particularly enjoy watching it. And then Sam Mendes went on to make, you know, Bond films, some of the best Bond films, some amazing stuff. And yeah, he is great. It's weird to think he started with things like American Beauty and then went on to that sort of stuff. And then, obviously, 1917. At 7, it is one of my personal favourite directors in existence. It's Rob Reiner, and this is Spinal Tap. You know... Of all the things Rob Reiner's done, you know, he gets the most credit for things like The Princess Bride, which is my favourite movie of all time. And I give a lot of the credit for that to him. But he doesn't get enough credit, I don't feel, for basically having invented the mockumentary. Shows like The Office, Parks and Rec, those would not exist if Rob Reiner hadn't made This Is Spinal Tap. It's incredible to think, and he does not get the credit he deserves for that. I love that movie. It is considered, you know, generally amongst like critics and stuff, to be one of the best comedies ever made, and the best movie about rock and roll ever made as well, I think. It's just insane how much incredible stuff came from that film. And he does not get enough credit for that, I don't think. 6, it's another one. I can't put some because they won Best Picture on the list and not others. But it is another actor turned director. It's Kevin Costner in Dances with Wolves. He starred in it, he directed it. God damn, man. And it won just a bunch of shit. It won a bunch of shit, man. Dances with Wolves is obviously an amazing film, and Kevin Costner managed... I can't even fathom starring in a movie, which you've done a million times, but also directing the whole thing. And a big epic like Dances with Wolves. It seems like such a difficult style of project for a first-time director. But Kevin Costner freaking nailed it, okay? At 5, it is one that I only found like minutes before I started recording this, because I was like, what can't possibly be true? Sidney Lumet, 12 Angry Men, oh my god. No matter what else I put on this list, I think out of all the movies, the first-time movies on this list, 12 Angry Men is my personal favourite. It is so ingenious. The only reason that this isn't kind of going as number 1 is because I don't really think it, you know, as much as Sidney Lumet did a great job directing this, I don't think it was, you know, for the most part down to his directing. You know, this was very script-focused and actor-focused, as opposed to massive epic directorial duties, you know. But it's still incredible that he made this movie, which has stood so much the test of time. Is so incredible. I love 12 Angry Men with the fiery passion of 1,000 burning suns. This is the one that I actually like found out was by a first-time director, and then decided to make this quick list. It's John Huston and the Maltese Falcon. It's so crazy to think that in 1940s Hollywood, noir movies were the big tick. Yeah. And Humphrey Bogart was the big tick in terms of leading men, you know. And John Huston got entrusted with both of these things and an epic script to do The Maltese Falcon in his first film. And he frickin' nailed it. At number 3 is The Shawshank Redemption, Frank Darabont. You ever heard of Frank Darabont? I hadn't heard of Frank Darabont. I don't know what he's gone on to do since. But my god, a first-time director did The Shawshank Redemption. This is, you know, The Shawshank Redemption was written by Stephen King as a book. But it wasn't exactly a large book. You know, it wasn't a big thing for him. So taking that and turning it into a film, obviously a lot of credit goes to whoever wrote the screenplay. But Frank Darabont as director, first-time director for this, that is astounding. That was bold. And it was obviously, obviously it has stood the test of time. It's considered one of the greatest movies of all time, and rightfully so. I entirely agree with that. At number 2, it's another one that you just go, wow, that's frickin' bold. That frickin' paid off. As a first-time director, it's Quentin Tarantino and Reservoir Dogs. Come on. That's an obvious one. You just kind of look at it and go, yeah, like, frickin' hell. Like, he'd worked on a lot of stuff before. He'd written movies before this, but he had not directed them, and my God, that was bold, that was beautiful. And to me, Reservoir Dogs is still, I think, my second favourite, maybe, Tarantino movie. It is still awesome. Before we get to number 1, I do want to have some honourable mentions here, because, there was just too many. There's just too many, and I know I'm going to get comments informing me of more great ones that maybe I've missed, but these 5 I'll add in just to say that I did consider them as well. So, Gone Baby Gone by Ben Affleck. Very, very serious, very good, well-made movie. Wow. Mad Max, the original by George Miller. Obviously, he went on to do Mad Max Fury Road and stuff, which was just revolutionary. He was like an old dog showing the young ones new tricks with that one. But the original Mad Max is also an excellent movie to rewatch even now. The Evil Dead, the original by Sam Raimi. That is a weird one to watch now, which doesn't hold up quite as well as some of these, but like, it was so bold at the time, and it went on to so many great things, Sam Raimi. The Duelists by Ridley Scott, which is an intriguing movie I hadn't heard of until recently, but wow, it is good, and it holds up today. It's about these 2 guys in kind of French Napoleonic times that decided they had, like, one of them insulted the other, and they have this epic series of sword fights, which are so well made. Ridley Scott really frickin' nailed those. That is why he got to do things like Alien. And finally, Fruitvale Station by Ryan Coogler, who went on to do Black Panther. But Fruitvale Station I watched as well recently, and I'm like, oh damn, yeah. God damn. It does take something for Marvel to go, yeah, we'll entrust you with this big property. And I can see why after he made that. But at number 1, it's a kind of... There are some lists I make where there is a no-brainer number 1, and I could not put it number 1 just to be a sneaky boy, but I wouldn't do it in this case because it would be unfair. Number 1 is Orson Welles and Citizen Kane. yeah, of course it is, it's Orson Welles and Citizen Kane. What am I going to say? It's, it was the high point of his career, and there's just hardly anybody who's been able to top it. It is still regarded as pretty much the best film of all time. Do I entirely agree with that? I don't think, because it's been copied so many times in so many different ways since, that watching it now I can truly appreciate it, the way it was meant to be appreciated. But it is still an epic, a classic. Incredible for a first-time director especially. And that's all for this list, folks. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a lot of other ideas for cool quick lists, because I kind of have some. But let me know what you want to see in the comments, because I will do a quick list about almost anything. And also, please subscribe. Bye!